Oh boy, it's like I never left. Alright, guys. Let's go see the neutral ending. So we're just going to give the Divine Dragons tears. Note, it takes two things to... Again, here's the theme with the two. Two things to get the best endings.
Namida. 生涯の忍びよ、武士たちをお願いできますか。これはやはりあなたが持っていてください。また新しい忍びが力を求める時が来るでしょう。
So I think the interesting thing here is that nothing actually got fixed. I think, like I was hinting at, it takes two. Yin, yang, left, right, two pairs of eyes. Remember, you have to like stab one of the eyes of the snake out, and then they're like less of a snake. The Immortal Severance is the incomplete ending. I would hesitate to even call it bad or neutral or anything. It's just incomplete because there isn't a second. He doesn't free the divine child from her prison. All he does is kind of put a band-aid over the situation. We don't know how the divine heir is chosen. We don't know if it's actually literally a bloodline or if it is adopted by the dragon's heritage. If the dragon heritage is like this esoteric thing that just kind of chooses a child at random in places where it is. So we don't know. And as a result, Sekiro just takes over for the sculptor. And as we know from playing, the sculptor ends up a creature of regret, ending up becoming a demon of hatred after they let go of their shinobi ways. And they just go to carving the Buddha. Sekiro's doing exactly the same thing as the sculptor is, and you could probably hazard the guess that Sekiro will one day become just like the sculptor in that they'll become the demon of hatred. This is basically the Gehrman. That's basically the Gehrman ending. Hey Worm, I sat down to fight General Ishin, and apparently I kind of killed him the second time I hit phase 4 ever, so we're just save scumming two of the endings. So we could suggest that. I mean, because like, and I think Worm could probably correct me if I'm wrong here, but we don't know how the divine heir is chosen. I mean, a person could assume that they're like born to the same like parentage or lineage, but like, considering all of the people being adopted into places within this game, it's probably a lot more esoteric than that. It's probably just like the cosmos choosing a child at random for to be the divine heir. There was Takeru. And we only know about Takeru here and there, and that Takeru ended up getting beheaded by his bodyguard. And his bodyguard, by the way, was Tomoe. Yeah, Tomoe was Takeru's bodyguard. And Tomoe is basically the Velka of Sekiro. I'm saying this now. Tomoe is basically the Velka of Sekiro's universe. She is an Onikami. She's a Okami woman. And basically, Okami is basically great wolf lady. That's kind of what it means, Okami. I mean, great god or something. I'm still, like, half crazed about beating Ishin that way. But Tomoe was a person from the Fountainhead, and she was guarding Takeru, a shinobi, but she was declared a foreigner, and her riding the lightning ways was basically declared heretical. But as we know from Ishin and how he describes the Ashina arts, it's like, if you win, okay, then it works. A win's a win. That's basically how he described the Ashina arts. Basically anything goes as long as you win. So of course he knew how to ride the lightning. But yeah, Takeru ended up getting beheaded because he tried to sever the ties of immortality as well. And then you've got Kuro. Yeah, like, I don't think we know that they are born directly of that lineage, and considering how much people are being adopted and claiming positions rather than like being born to those positions in the same family, there's a lot of that in this game. I would hazard the guess that like the divine heirs are just kind of chosen at will by like the forces of the cosmos. And like the sculptor has his own issues too. Like his partner was eaten by the ape, per the malcontent item descriptions. Listen, the sky and the cosmos are one, and that's, all we got. The sky and the cosmos is one. It's the same thing. Yeah, well, you'll find out when you try carving one for yourself one day. Like, this ending, it's kind of, neutral. I mean, you don't really fix anything, but you do put a band-aid on it. Ashina's still collapsed, although Emma is probably the clan leader. they haven't addressed the whole dragon heritage within the area kind of thing, so it might just hop to some other poor sap of a child. And Sekiro's biggest regret is he didn't save Kuro from, his own cursed bloodline. He had to kill him at the end. So, there's a lot of regret for Sekiro. He didn't fix the world for the little child who basically he adopted as his own kid. That's all. That ending is very, very good for being, the standard, didn't do all the stuff ending, the neutral ending anyway. And remember, the best endings need two things, just like the rest of this game needs two things. Yeah. Purification, he still kills himself. He's lived his life. He wanted Kuro to live their life. He had already died, and he probably thought he was living on borrowed time. That and he's an immortal, and they don't need that stuff running around, so he killed himself. Also note, by the way, that when his body collapses, I've already seen these endings. I got impatient. Note that when he collapses, he is a bunch of sakura blossoms. His blood turns into sakura blossoms. Again, most of you weren't in the Diga's Discord when I was ranting about this, but the biggest mistake this localization did was calling the sakura blossoms, the cherry blossoms, ever blossoms. They are cherry blossoms. And it is very important you guys know that these are cherry blossoms. It's very important. In the Japanese Shinto and Japanese Buddhist belief systems, the sakura blossom represents life and death. It represents the duality of nature and man, the fragility of life, but how beautiful that life is when it is alive, but how short-lived life actually is. There's a lot of truths wrapped up in the sakura blossom, and I think that is the worst thing this localization did is not call it a sakura blossom. Because you wouldn't, understanding that bit of cultural stuff doesn't translate at all, and if you didn't know or couldn't hear that they were talking about sakura in the Japanese VO. I would have gone to Kuro's tea house. Just saying. Kuro's tea house would have been amazing, and yes. So we've got some stuff to clean up, grinding to do. These are all the skills we still have to pick up. But, I would totally eat a sweet rice ball from Kuro's tea house. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to see Kuro live and make his own tea house. So we've got the rest of this stuff to do. Get the last couple of lapis lazulis. I think the Takeru stuff with Tomoe happened a little while ago. I mean, not so long ago that it was passed into legend, because Tomoe took Genichiro as a student. So there is that. Actually, we were trying to figure out the timeline for the Shura ending on another Discord, on the Diga's Discord, because we were just wondering where Open Gate was and what happened to Genichiro, and if Howl went and killed Genichiro to get Open Gate, and when he did that and stuff like that. you know. So we were actually talking about how in the world Open Gate came into the hands of Owl, because in the Shura ending, Owl has Open Gate instead of Genichiro. I love, by the way, we all do this in Dark Souls, don't we? We do all, this is basically how everybody in Dark Souls says hi. I love that this has become the center point of the combat system in Sekiro. I retweeted somebody's comic about doing this. Say hi. Yeah, like, what happened to Tomoe? I don't think it's said, or I might have missed it. Like, I know Takeru gets beheaded, and Tomoe does it for him. And Tomoe took Genichiro as a student. And Genichiro's not that much older than we are. Was it? Because, like, we get the Mortal Blade from the Divine Child. And she's been... Hold on. In Odachi, capable of slaying the Undying, its crimson blade will take the life of any who dares draw it. Without the power of resurrection, one could not hope to wield this weapon, which allows one to defeat even infested beings. Long concealed within Senpo Temple, the blade is inscribed with its true name, Gracious Gift of Tears. The Black Mortal Blade is called Open Gate, which is how I call it, because it's just 2 words. This one, it's 4? But it says long concealed within Senpo Temple. So it's been in Senpo Temple for a while. Well, Sekiro's probably mid-20s to mid-30s. Because the opening cinematic takes place about 20 years prior. And he is at least 12. So he's probably around 32. Sekiro's age. Well, the Divine Dragon and the Mortal Blade are basically called the same thing, Gracious Gift of Tears. So I'm not sure if people are getting confused because they have basically the same name. I think it's just the gray in his hair from the Dragon Rot. Because he actually doesn't have the gray in the neutral ending that you saw. It's gone. It's just a symptom of his like immortality. But it's gone in the neutral ending if you look real close. So Red Mortal Blade is actually called Gracious Gift of Tears. The thing you like carve out of the left eye, and hold on. The right eye of the dragon, I had to actually turn around and remember which side that was. Is also called Gracious Gift of Tears. Yeah, Kuro can choose, and it's unsure how because it's black screen both times. And like Genichiro begs Kuro to do it, but like Kuro keeps saying no, dog. But when he does it for Sekiro, it's a black screen because Sekiro is passed out. But considering the blood, also back to the cherry blossom point. Remember, the very first thing you see of Sekiro, right before it gives you control, is a cherry blossom petal on his leg. And that is the actual blood that is running through the Dragon Heritage veins. That's why at the end of Purification, when he kills himself, he turns into Sakura petals. Why did they call it Everblossom? I'm gonna just rant and rave about it, like, for days. And it's normally a pretty good localization, but, like, I'm not happy about that at all. Because I'm sure Westerners would have understood the significance of just calling it a cherry blossom instead of, like, quote, ever blossom. It's so weird. Anyway, I need to charge my controller. So, I think tomorrow when I stream again, I am off tomorrow, so I'll probably try and get an afternoon stream in, depending on if I get chores done. We'll hunt some headless and the last Chichiman and do some grinding. Holy crap! I can't believe that kill. I'm gonna go rewatch the footage just to see what the heck. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you for being here. And have a good night, everybody.